Welcome, traveller, to this visit to Mount Magnet, Western Australia. Mount Magnet is located on the Great Northern Highway, Highway 95, which is accessible from Perth, headed up towards Port Hedland. Mount Magnet is an old West Australian gold rush town, 500 some kilometres northeast of Perth. It's got a population of about 1,000 people, with maybe 15% being Indigenous. It's also the centre of the Shire Mount Magnet, with 14,000 square kilometres. Mount Magnet is the major residential area of the Shire, and it's supported by mining and pastoral industries today, as well as tourism. Checking out the news, Mount Magnet gets recognition periodically with stock market reports, such as the release of the Mount Magnet shares at 40 cents. Also report about a 4-year drought in the Murchison, which is greatly affecting the pastoralists. Mount Magnet is well presented by the Shire with their web page. They note the many tourists who come in July to September to look at wildflowers. It's not a big town, as this Google photograph shows. I'm looking around with Google Earth. It's apparent that mining still continues in the area. For instance, a gold processing plant just outside Mount Magnet. And here's its slime pits. They are gigantic. Going up in elevation, it's possible to see the many open pits around the town. And some of these pits are bigger than the town itself in area. More open pits, they probably all have names. Yet another vast open pit near Mount Magnet. The town attracts artists who explore the gold mining heritage and the quaint architecture. In fact, there's still a regular business in Mount Magnet for prospectors, as the pioneer prospecting and outback suppliers advertise. They offer prospecting tours and information on finding gold. Here's their store in Mount Magnet. Not to be outdone, next door is the Pickaxe Trading Post, which has a large museum inside of gold mining equipment. However, the owner is usually out prospecting, so the post is normally shut. Prospectors are attracted by looking at some of the old relics from the mining era. During the early days, drive blowers were used. This one was located at Mount Magnet, separated the dust from the gravel. Pastoralists and grazers who raised sheep and cattle were the first settlers arriving from 1854. Gold was discovered in Halls Creek, the Murchison, in 1882 and was found in Mount Magnet in 1888. But it wasn't until July 1891 that a claim was staked. The miners began to work the area about 4 kilometres northwest of Mount Magnet. The ruin of the Hesper's Dawn gold mine. In the sketch is a typical miner's hut, built from slabs of iron, cemented with mud. buildings lasted over 100 years. There were many mines opened in the first 10 years of the town. Rapidly developed in the late 1890s. Dusty, barren, and arid. Not really a pleasant place to be in those years. Not a blade of grass or a green tree. The state battery, an early 1890s hospital which consisted of tents and a brush wall. J.W. Tower's residence in 1937. It's pretty typical of 1930s miners' cottages. Building methods had changed little from the 1890s. One of the early hotels, one and all. Early transport. A bicycle race starting in Mount Magnet. We're going to Kew, I think. Notice the large recreational grandstand in the back. No sign of that today. Here's the Mount Magnet old mud brick schoolhouse and master's quarters. The Northern Railway arrived in 1897, cutting traveling time from 4 days to 1 day, replaced the camel trains and bullock trains that had once supplied the town with food and mining equipment. The only thing short were women. The Black Cat mine was operated between 1908 and 1942. Mount Magnet had a modest revival of mining during the 1930s. In the Depression, the population reached 600 in 1941. But it rapidly declined during World War II. Most of the major mines were shut down except Hill 50. By 1950, the population had decreased to 350 people. This is a sketch of the Black Cat 2 gold mine. Let's look at some of the later mines. The Brown Hill Shaft, established by Hill 50 gold mine in the early 1960s. A sketch of the Brown Hill Shaft. The biggest mine in Mount Magnet was Hill 50. The Hill 50 produced gold for over 30 years. It was incorporated in 1934 and managed to survive the Second World War. By the 1950s, it was producing almost 90,000 ounces of gold per year with great profits. It operated to 1976 when the mine was shut. It was reopened at a later date. The Eclipse Mine. The company was formed in 1957 and developed during the late 50s and early 60s. An open pit, the Parkinson Pit, a Morningstar shaft. During the 1980s, the company that operated Hill 50 gained ore from a large variety of sources and commenced gold production again. The Morningstar open pit commenced in 1986. The company processed 1.2 million tons of ore per year. Interestingly, the Shire almost died between 1976 and 1980, population falling to 290 people. But during the 1980s, revival of large-scale mining greatly improved the town. Also, the tarmacking of the road to from Perth. It's greatly improved things, as well as the planting of trees. Water tank hill shaft, operated from 1979 to 1987. Now join me on my 3-day visit to Mount Magnet. In November, 40-degree temperatures, that's 100 degrees Fahrenheit every day. We drive down the main street and look at the town. Notice the facade on the building. Streets are extremely wide. My name's Don and I'm pulling a 20-foot caravan. I check into the Mount Magnet Caravan Park. Here's my friend Jamie working on the caravan. I take a look at real estate. Amazingly, houses run around $70,000 or $80,000 for a property. This is a Federation style 1900 home. Another very early model home. Not all of them are so laid out. I saw this one for sale for $70,000. Does have some green grass and greenery. Number of parks, and I look at this park. It is quite large with shady trees. I look around a bit. Another shady park is the Mount Magnet Federation Tourist Park. I check out the buildings. Here's the Mount Magnet Shire office and a lovely water cover of the same building. These buildings are old, 1898 for this one. I think it's on the Shire office. The Mount Magnet Hotel. The butcher has some lovely bougainvillea. Another lovely watercolor by June Boabi of the butcher. Galvanized metal was the predominant building material during the mining boom. Not all the buildings are open. I take a look at blogs. Much of the people working in the town are backpackers traveling from Canada and the States and overseas. This backpacker from British Columbia has been working 10 to 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. She describes it as a very sleepy little town. Not much to do other than drink in the 3 pubs. Another backpacker writes in her blog that she's been working at a pub in Mount Magnet. It has a population of about 1,000 people. She works in the kitchen. This is called the amphitheater for obvious reasons. Thanks for joining me, dear traveller, on this visit to Mount Magnet, Western Australia. Have a lovely day.